previous episode, I was romanced, and in this one,
Oh,
am I gonna get romanced again?
No, we're gonna finish the backside of your cup.
I just got a text message from my fiance Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
I bought yogurt from the store last night. It's in the same exact jar as the vegan one. They look exactly the same with the label. She sends me a text. She said, I started eating the yogurt. I'm extremely upset. It wasn't the vegan one.
But it's freaking delicious.
Yeah. It's in the same exact jar. Moving? I was so happy with myself. I found the yogurt that she likes. Right? Only to find out I've poisoned her with the thing she doesn't want to have. You know what I mean? What an idiot.
Well, that's perfect with your shirt today.
Yeah, I'm the gangster vegan. You've been tricked.
Yeah, you've been tricked. Oh, that's hilarious.
I hope she forgives me.
Oh, do you think she will?
Yeah, of course she will.
So
after she throws up.
When we get into freedom,
yes,
because that's what we're going to talk about. This is part 2. We talked about 4.3 billion people live in an authoritarian regime over 95 countries. So, and then we talked about the reason behind that. Then we got into how TARTLE can solve that.
Oh, yeah.
So now I want people to understand, if they're an authoritarian regime, to educate people to understand, number one, that you cannot do is free speech. And we're going to talk about this in a second. But number 2 is property rights.
Whoa.
So these 2 things, TARTLE
champions those things for you. What is free speech? Let's break it down. Speaking is nothing but a vocalization of something non-tangible, which is the thought of a human being.
Yes.
To convey a message or idea about that individual's perspective or opinion on their view of reality.
Yes.
That's what that is. I love putting definitions together. Now, that being captured in an electronic format is data. So all those things you're doing on TARTLE is your free speech. We champion you to speak your mind.
Yes.
To share those information, those thoughts, those truths about how you see things, so the world can really understand who you are for the unification of mankind. Now, that felt like slam poetry.
I was flowing. I was like,
that felt great.
I was like, oh, this is great.
Wait a minute, what's the second one?
Property rights.
Oh, yeah, property rights. Oh, here's the cool part. The way we have engineered our technology, at TARTLE, is data provenance. Provenance means let's go back to the source, the origin of where this thing's come from. There's a ledger to track that. We know and help you and others respect the rights that they have over their property, the work they do to create this new asset.
Data is property. It is your property.
Data is an asset. It's property. It's the person's property that generates it. Correct?
And you have a right to that property.
100%. You have the right to share it, not share it, earn from it, expand upon it, shrink it, delete it, do whatever you want. That's your choice.
So when we look at a platform, maybe even a social media platform, and they're not allowing free speech, and they don't have property rights.
Or they say you can download your data and you can't.
Yes, yeah. They don't have property rights to your data. They don't have free speech. That shows you authoritarian regime. You
bet it is. And if Facebook ever comes in and says, we're going to give you a penny for your Facebook data.
Yes.
Don't let them undersell you. Know that you're getting ripped off. Know that they're trying to hide the fact that it is an authoritarian regime over your information.
What's so funny, I'm going to use an example. I have Geico. And so Geico came with this thing where they'll give you a discount every month.
15% or more on car insurance.
Yeah, but they'll give you even more of a discount if you, on their app, give them access to your GPS location.
Right. They were asking me that too.
Yeah. So
telemetry readings for how you drive.
Yeah, for how you drive. But I don't think they really care about how you drive as much as getting the GPS location, like where you're going, what you're doing.
The crown jewel.
Yes.
Okay.
See, and then that tells you actually, we always tell them, oh, I drive less than 12,000 miles or I drive 15,000 miles a year or whatever.
I do 12,000 miles in a week.
Then.
Yeah. No, they really know.
Yeah. That's like pure data.
Yeah. So the crown jewel of most things, well, there's just really 2 things here when it comes to data. Genomic information to see the variation among human beings so we can do our research going into the future. Yes. That's numero uno. Number 2 is location. People want to know how the herd moves. They need to know how that's studied.
Yes.
Your location is the last defining grip Google has on you. They're trying to hold on to that with all they got. And every other company is trying to get into that thing.
So
your location, Jason,
yes,
is freedom of movement. When freedom of movement is restricted, okay, or someone is controlling how you share where you have moved,
right,
that is authoritarian.
Well, and when you think of, when we go back to free speech and you think of authoritarian regime, a good test for this is one thing.
Oh, I love a muster test.
Yeah, a good test is, can you go to a public space
Yep.
and speak against that ruler?
Ooh.
That's a great test. Here in the United States, we can do that. I could go to a public area, and
you may get
we have it all the time.
You may get slapped around by the cops.
And I can talk, you may get slapped around by the cops, but I mean, it's not going to be a big deal. But I can go to the UK,
Yep,
in London, and I can talk against the Queen.
It's not going to go in your favor.
I can talk against the Prime Minister,
100%.
but I'm not going to get locked up or threatened. No, they're not going to threaten me. They may tell me, you're being obnoxious. Can you get the hell out of the way?
You want to know what's really cool? On TARTLE, maybe just let's run a hypothetical scenario here. Banana farms. Maybe there's something going on with banana farms in developing countries, right?
Dole.
Oh, we're treating our workers ethically, whatever, what have you.
Right.
You know, and they're all saying this looks good in the news. What happens when someone goes on TARTLE and buys the data from those workers on the banana farm, and they really tell you what's going on? TARTLE allows people to stand up and speak their truth, and they can do it in a pseudo-anonymous fashion. They can either choose to put their name to it,
yes,
or choose not to. What does that allow us to do? Really get down to the truth, get down to the brass tacks of what's really going on outside of how the news or larger people that have control over it portray that image.
So whether it's a social media platform, whether it's the state restricting speech, TARTLE
unlocks that restriction.
Yes.
It's like we take speech and we throw it in a bullet train or a Ferrari, right? Or SR-71 Blackbird or some sort of extraterrestrial craft.
The one that's, I mean, here's a prime example.
I was just about to talk about UFOs.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, fine. Tell me about the anti thing.
Well, this is even worse.
Anti-gravity.
So Parler, the app, and it was for like far right people, whatever, QAnon and all that stuff, right? People were using it for that, but it was a website. Well, AWS decided to just take it down. So now you have a marketplace of ideas.
Yep.
And Amazon can turn around
and
remove that.
We got to buy some satellites. Unless someone then starts shooting missiles at our satellites.
Yeah, so TARTLE is a marketplace of ideas. It is the marketplace of ideas.
It is the number one place where humanity comes together and find understanding amongst ourselves.
Because the one thing that we don't want to do, and this is important with free speech, the one thing that we don't want to do is violate your principles.
Ever,
yeah.
We are here to respect, uplift, and champion you with those principles. We recognize the value of these things with human evolution.
Right.
We recognize how these things help support peace because peace happens through understanding of the other.
Because they're willing to sacrifice your privacy for your money.
Yeah, for their gain.
For their gain. They're willing to sacrifice your human rights for their capital.
And that happens all the time. We've seen it throughout history. Look at imperialism.
Yes. Any
Any sort of slave cultures that have happened. It has happened for generation upon generation. That can end. And for once, we can use technology to actually benefit the evolutive process of human beings.
Or we can reverse engineer alien technology.
And then get extraterrestrial craft and then go fly around at high speeds.
And then China and Russia go on a search to try to find it.
You can't find us. You can't find us. We'll podcast.
Our cloaking device. Yeah. We're going to cloak. We're going to cloak ourselves, then podcast.
We're going to cloak the craft. We're going to float around somewhere and podcast from there and then just beam it down. You want to know why? Because we have a technology, Jason, that can take over all listening mechanisms at one time.
So here's another litmus test. We did one. You go in a public place.
Where does
this is a really cool one.
Where does the word litmus come from, though?
Litmus. Let's look it up. This is intriguing.
Litmus.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a water-soluble mixture. Am I? I don't think I'm spelling litmus test.
Type in litmus.
Oh, it is litmus test. Okay. Here we go. I just want to check out the origins here. The mic is in the way of me reading. There we go. Okay. Litmus test is strictly scientific origin, so it actually deals with the water solubility of a single factor or event within some sort of point of chemistry. A single factor that establishes the true character of something.
Okay, so here we go. Here's a good one. Here's another one. So this is the second litmus test. Can you have a gay pride parade?
In your country?
Yeah, in your country.
Oh, you saying in...
Think about that.
Well, hold on. What some religions in the country may be like, absolutely
it's
not.
Authoritarian. But when you look at that, usually there's an authoritarian regime
That's a
attached
test.
to that.
Wait, so you can't let people be who they want to be and be proud of that specific thing and also share that joy with others?
Because if you think of any country that has authoritarian regime on it, none of them will let you have a gay pride parade.
What's with that? Why can't you just let people
think about that.
Why can't people be
even
who they
Russia?
want to be?
I watched that documentary where they're just, there's this whole thing about, especially with men being gay and they're beating the fuck out of guys.
No way.
Yes, it's so rude, dude. It's like I feel sorry for.
I don't get it. Like why? Why the hate?
It's
you want to know what it is?
Fear.
It's fear because it's a lack of understanding.
Yes.
Do you know when you sign up on TARTLE, you can determine so here's what you do. We ask you for your biological sex.
Right.
And then we ask you what your gender is. And you can choose any dimension of gender of your choice. And we're going to respect it.
So
100%.
So third test, and this is a fun one.
Yep.
Can you do comedy? Not just can you do comedy, but can you get paid for doing comedy? What country can you get paid for doing comedy?
You can get paid for comedy in the United States.
Yeah. UK, you can.
Comedy's tough. Why?
Mm-hmm. Canada, because you can probably. Maybe. So it's
what is it around comedy? Like South Park uses this also, where you're saying the thing like in jest,
right?
So you can say things that are just like whoa, like what people would coin is like politically incorrect,
right?
But you're saying it. What is the stance that this has happened to them? Because
my thing is, can you get paid for making fun of the government? In some countries, you can.
Yeah. In most countries, absolutely you cannot.
No.
Why is it that the governments think that they are the ones that are supporting human life? That they have the choice of how a human being should evolve?
Yes.
Jason, when did that occur?
Right.
When did someone think that they have all the knowledge, all the rights, and all the knowing to tell everybody else how they should live?
Yes.
When did that happen?
When did we allow it to happen?
That is the key point.
That's the key
point.
We need to go back
as human
and
beings
learn from history and say, when do a group of people decide to allow, because the government is force. We had a whole podcast on that. Next litmus test is elections mean nothing. Every dictator always gets elected.
Always.
So elections mean nothing.
You want to know a cool thing you can do with TARTLE? You can do political policy research. You could actually go out there and take a direct vote from every single individual who has a cell phone or access to a computer.
Yes.
And you can actually test that against what the government may say the count is.
Dude, think about that.
How cool. And here's the best part. Not one person can count. Many parties can come in, buy that data, and analyze it separately. So you have thousands of independent analysis going on at one time.
Yes.
Think about the value of something like that.
Yes.
Talk about a litmus test against what a larger government may actually say.
So it tells you if a government's not willing to go onto some type of transparent blockchain network like TARTLE, we have a problem.
That's a red flag.
Yes, there's
that's our first
fraud, and fraud is one of the biggest issues. So when we look at this freedom of speech,
yes,
when we look at property rights, those two things, what is the way that an individual through TARTLE can gain back their freedom for those two?
Well, that's super cool. So I don't even care if you use TARTLE as your personal diary.
Yes.
Okay? Everything you do on TARTLE will help magnify those great values, those great human rights, like free speech. You can share all of that information about how you really think and feel. You can share with people in your country and people outside of it. You can speak as freely as you want. And you can know that it's secure and no one will ever know who it came from because you can choose not to share.
I love that.
Because that's your choice.
Yes.
Okay? And it is also your property because any piece of data that's put up there, when that free speech turns into a piece of data, you own that. And you can choose to let it go or keep it as close to the chest as you want. You can feel safe with storing your information on TARTLE. We can't read it. We have no access to it. It's a trustless marketplace with symmetric and asymmetric encryption. We have no say how you move or how you expose your information. It is all your choice because it's your property. It's like I will open up the door to my front house with my key when I choose to let that person in to be a part of my life.
That's so badass.
Not like the cops come in and say, I'm going to open it and let whoever we want to go in.
Yes. Well, think about, and we'll close on this. Think about these 4.3 billion people.
That's so many people.
And in over 95 countries. And then think about the freedom they can experience right now if they have an internet access to Tartle.
Do you remember, I don't know if you remember this feeling, but the very first time you rode a bike?
Yes.
Do you know that sense of freedom? Mm-hmm. Or when you were a kid and you were running at high speeds and the wind's on your face, your clothing's pulling back on you.
Or my big wheel.
Or on your big wheel. But where you were on top of your own world.
Yes.
You had that freedom. Where you weren't thinking about all those other things that could restrict your choices or your thoughts. Bring that joy back. Have that feeling again. Capture those thoughts and those ideas and help expand human understanding and not get slapped on the wrist for trying to share how you think. So, people need to respect how you think. Whether they enjoy what you say or do not enjoy it, it is your right to have that thought. It is your right to think. It is your right to free will. We don't have to agree, but it is your choice, and we respect the fact that it's your choice.
So let me ask you this. How can someone have that respect through Tartle?
When you join Tartle, every step you take in the creation of your profile, before you get to the point where it's like, here's me, this is my information, we tell you everything that's going on. We educate you every step of the way because we respect you. We respect that you need to know. We respect the transparency. If there's no reciprocity in that sort of value amongst party to party, something is off. We can't be hypocritical. We have to meet you where you are, and we have to bring you through the process when you're ready to be there. We will never force.